in the squadron. They called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
That's interesting. I just prayed. I just prayed for peace. And I said, ultimately when they're back at the table, breaking news, Kushner and Witkoff to Pakistan tomorrow. Is that interesting or what? I opened my eyes and that's the headline. That's the headline. Peace talks are on tomorrow. God, thank you. God is great. In a way, he answered my prayer. Only God could do that. Only God. I just prayed to God for the peace talks, for the successful peace talks. And I said, at the peace table, please. And then I realized, well, they're not at the peace table right now. But when they get there eventually, please have a meeting of the minds. I know there can be peace between these two. And I opened my eyes, and it's breaking news that the press secretary, Levitt, just told Fox that Jared Kushner, and Steve Witkoff are going to Pakistan tomorrow. And that's where the peace talks are. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that really great? I love it. I love it. You can't tell me that's not God. I know it's God. God is everything and everywhere. So interesting that you ever go through a door and somebody holds the door open for you and you say thank you, right? Did you ever go through a door and for some reason or another you were oblivious to it, or somehow you didn't notice that the door was being held open for you and the guy says, "You're welcome," right? "You're welcome." "Oh, yeah, sorry, thank you." Or maybe you hold the door for somebody. You expect a thank you. And if you don't get it, it's like, what a rude jerk. What a rude jerk. I just held the door open for this guy. Well, how many of us, myself included, and especially, can go through the day without thinking about God, thanking God, right, genuinely for everything, for the door, for the building, for the air, for the floor, for the ceiling, for the light, for the everything. We hold the door open for 2 seconds for somebody and we want a reward. We want some sort of recognition. What's wrong with us? What's wrong? And I do too. I feel affronted if somebody doesn't thank me. That's how that's how I know I am a sinful creature. I am made of sin. I was conceived in sin. That's how it works, right? That's how it is. And the goodness comes from God. That's the way. It's him. It's all his. Capital H. Left to my own devices, I'm just going to try to be a good person, except when it is inconvenient for me. That doesn't work. Oh, I'm spiritual, not religious. I believe in a higher power. I believe in the universe. No, that doesn't cut it either. Where's the guidebook for that? What are you going to use when it comes time to making decisions and doing the right thing or avoiding trouble? There's no Bible for following the universe unless you want to be one of those astrology nut jobs, right? The astrology thing. I do not like astrology. I used to look at that stuff. Now I'd rather play with matches and gasoline. That stuff is dangerous. Stay the hell away from it, okay? Please. Somebody once told me that, actually, a priest. They said, I'd rather play with gas and matches. That's what he said, than play with the Ouija board. I'm going to say this again. I mean, poor John Phelan. John Phelan wanted to remain as the Secretary of the Navy. It doesn't really matter. There are a lot of these jobs. It's about procurement. It's about future planning. He wasn't in charge of the blockade. This whole write-up here about how he was kicked out unceremoniously, literally without ceremony. See, there's another secretary that Hegseth hates. His name is Dan Driscoll. Dan Driscoll is the Army secretary. Hegseth, for whatever reason, hates the guy, possibly because a lot of people think that Dan Driscoll would be a great Secretary of Defense in his own right. He's got a strategic mind, and he doesn't have the baggage that Hegseth has, right? Not ongoing drama wherever the guy goes. You couldn't make friends with the Secretary of the Navy? You couldn't handle that? It was that urgent that he had to be out of the door by 2:00 in the afternoon? What's wrong with you? Give the guy 2 weeks notice. Give him 30 days notice. This is not an emergency. his little henchman there. Who's his little henchman? He's got a henchman by the name of Parnell. Oh, we got to get rid of this guy right away. And then they send out a nasty message. John Phelan has resigned of the Department of Navy as secretary effective immediately. We thank him for his service, i.e. he just got fired. I.e. he had no choice in the matter. I just don't think that's right. And that's not how you treat people. But then again, he's not a good guy. He's not. He's got big problems. And if you don't believe me, let's ask Pete's mom. Pete Hegseth's mother. A lot of people don't know about this email. But it exists. It's real. And I don't know. If this email was written by the mother, and it was, it's confirmed, in 2018, and it's not like the New York Times hacked into some computer. The family sent this to like 50 people. Like, we're doing all we can to help Pete. This is April 30th, 2018. April 30th, 2018. He's a full-grown man. This is during the first Trump administration. Son, I have tried to keep quiet about your character and behavior, but after listening to the way you made Samantha feel today, I cannot stay silent. And as a woman and your mother, I feel I must speak out. You are an abuser of women. That is the ugly truth, and I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego. You are that man, and have been for years. And as your mother, it pains me and embarrasses me to say that, but it is the sad, sad truth. I am not a saint, far from it, so don't throw that in my face. But your abuse over the years to women, dishonesty, sleeping around, betrayal, debasing, belittling, needs to be called out. Sam is a good mother and a good person under the circumstances you created. And I know deep down you know that. For you to try to label her as unstable for your own advantage is despicable and abusive. There's that word, despicable. Is there any sense of decency left in you? She did not ask for or deserve any of what has come to her by your hand. Neither did Meredith. I think that was the first wife. I know you think this is one big competition and that we have taken her side. Bunk. We are on the side of good, and that is not you. Go ahead and call me self-righteous. I don't care. It's very interesting that she's like preemptively responding to what he says, right? He sounds like a real peach, every time his mom brings these things up, and I'm sure some of this has been brought up before. What he says. Oh, yeah, listen to this, Bunk. Go ahead and call me self-righteous. I don't care. Don't you dare run to her and cry foul that we shared with us. That's what babies do. It's time for someone, I wish it was a strong man, to stand up to your abusive behavior and call it out, especially against women. We still love you, but we are broken by your behavior and lack of character. I don't want to write emails like this and never thought I would. If it damages our relationship further, then so be it. But at least I have said my piece. And yes, we are praying for you. And you don't deserve to know how we are praying. So skip that snarky reply. What in the hell kind of character is this? I don't want an answer to this. I don't want to debate with you. You twist and abuse everything I say anyway. But on behalf of all the women, and I know it's many, you have abused in some way, I say, get some help and take an honest look at yourself. Love, Mom. For all of you who think that Hegseth is a great guy and keep on calling me, oh yeah, you're jealous of him, oh yeah, you're this, you're that, what? Are you crazy? This is his own mother, not very long ago. It's, there's certain things you should not be able to do after a letter like this becomes public. Actually, not only this, but you can't pay a woman tens of thousands of dollars to not talk about a sexual encounter with you that she says was coercive, right? Pay her the money and then she'll keep quiet. That's blackmail, man. That's blackmail. And this maniac is now running around the Pentagon. It is a disgrace. It is a disgrace. I can't accept it. I didn't accept it. For a long time, I could focus on the accomplishments, right? Being very, very generous to the guy. But that's it. Get some help and take an honest look at yourself. You know what? Mrs. Hegseth, I hate to say this, but it seems like I am that man, right? No one else is. See, don't you dare run to her and cry foul that we shared with us. That's what babies do. It's time for someone, I wish it was a strong man, to stand up to your abusive behavior and call it out, especially against women. I don't know if anybody actually ever did that. He got away with so much, right? When? What price did he pay for this kind of behavior? Now, I guess, in a way, it all came out. But when I see that arrogance from that podium, the lack of humility, it's really something. It all works. It all works. Sometimes in very, very, very mysterious ways, right? More importantly than any personality right now in the Pentagon, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff are back on their way to Pakistan soon for negotiations. And I really want there to be an end to this war that's mutually beneficial. How about that? Join the League of Nations, right? Join the fold. Forget weapons. Pursue peace, Iran. It's great. One other little thing since I'm on it. I'm on my disappointments with the Trump administration. Now, I love the Trump administration. I do. I love Trump. I agree with him 92% of the time. The remaining 8% of the time, I kind of look at it this way. 4% of the time, right? 50% of the 8%, I'm just going to defer to him. I assume he knows more. I'm not going to quarrel, right? The other 3%, or the other 40%, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. The 10% of the 4% that I know that I think I can be of help, or that my opinion is of value for him, I will say it. I will come out. I think that they've gone way too far embracing medical marijuana, and pretty soon it's recreational marijuana. This marijuana, I've been talking to paramedics. I've been talking to psychologists. I've been talking to a couple of parents, and they have an emotionally disturbed daughter, and she's been going through a hard time, and it's been exacerbated by weed. Psychotic episodes because of weed. I know this myself personally. I have had psychotic episodes as a result of weed, marijuana. It is 1,000,000 times stronger than what the hell we had growing up. When I smoked a doober with Art Edmonds in the dugout of Garden City High School baseball field, and I really didn't even inhale because I, number one, didn't know how. Number two, I was freaked out about my dad. I didn't want to do it, and I didn't do it. But then I got good and baked in college once. And then it was about 12 years, good and baked on hash and opium. Had a drug test the next day. A pop drug test the next day. Unbelievable, right? How the Lord was laughing at me. Basically the second time in my life that I ever took drugs, and the next day I was supposed to take a drug test. I speak from experience, all right? Now I know some people swear by this crap. Some people are so convinced, and a lot of people in the Maha movement, right? They want a broader acceptance, not only of weed, marijuana, but psychedelics in general. Psychedelics, more ways to become numb, more ways to become disconnected from reality. God forbid we should approach our problems with a clear head. I need a clear head for my problems. Oh my gosh, my problems? They're hard enough as they are. Gosh. Anyway, I think President Trump has been misled on this issue, and I wish he stuck to his teetotaler roots. You know, the man has never smoked a cigarette, he's never had a drink, and he certainly has never touched drugs. Right? It's pretty amazing when you think about it. 3 of the last 4 presidents were teetotalers. Never drank, right? Bush gave it up at 40. 3 of the last presidents never would have been president if they had a drink. Something to think about on a Friday night. I remember Tom Brady got drunk down in Tampa Bay, and everybody was giving him a hard time. But it was the day after the Super Bowl, and this guy's on Twitter. You know, everyone's making fun of Tom Brady for being drunk. He's like, you all drink because it's Friday night. He just won the Super Bowl. Leave him alone. Good point, anonymous Twitter person. We'll be right back.
Greg Kelly on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I love it when a Twitter message ricochets around the Pentagon, the White House, the executive branch, the judicial branch, the congressional branch, right? This tweet is going mega viral. It's interesting. I don't understand it, what the appeal is of X, right? You know, you say something and nobody really cares. But if you write it down and put it on Twitter, they act like it's the most important thing in the world, and it really can move the needle. You know, I listen to a fair amount of political content, and in the olden days, they would say, hey, did anybody see what David Ignatius wrote in today's Washington Post? Right? And, you know, oh yeah, everybody's talking about that article he wrote. Well, now it's all about, you know, somebody's tweet. You know? Well, as Seth Rogen tweeted, as Joe Schmo tweeted, and then they'll dissect the tweet. And the tweet is not even a paragraph. It's a blurb. It's, I don't know what it is. It's not really a paragraph. It's not really a sentence. It's just words. But it does kind of clarify, and it reduces the unnecessary. The best tweets, you get rid of all the excess crap and you just let it rip. You just let the material fly. And, it's a wonderful thing. It actually is a wonderful thing. It's crazy and weird and sometimes abusive and mean and funny and all those things. But don't be on X if you don't want to have an argument. Don't be on X if you don't want to, you know, don't be on social media if you don't want to have your feelings hurt. And a lot of us don't want to have our feelings hurt. So even if you are on social media, I highly recommend you do what I want to do, which is turn the phone off for at least a day. That day being, how about Saturday? Saturday? You know, Vice President Vance just wrote a book about the Sabbath, bringing back the Sabbath.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Oh my gosh, this Rex Hoyerman situation, the Gilgo Beach serial murderer, right, Carlos? Well, the family is doing a documentary. They already did 1 season. I guess this is season 2. The family being the ex-wife and the daughter, and I believe the stepson, and there's a dog involved. They all still live in this crazy house, right, where all the murders happened. And the ex-wife, I think her name is Asa, has moved into the basement for some reason, which is where all the killing happened. I would think that would be the room to be avoided, but for whatever reason, she's sleeping in the basement. And there's an article here. They are unemployable. Are they unemployable? I mean, I don't know. I'd give one of them a job if they were qualified. I'm not going to hold Rex Hoyerman against them. I don't think they knew. Actually, matter of fact, the DA of Suffolk County was sitting right there. He told me they had nothing to do with it and they didn't know. Now, granted, they're a little bit weird living in that house, but you know, I'd have a cup of coffee with them. Everyone's saying why are they unemployable? Are we that unforgiving? I mean, they didn't do anything. We don't have to forgive them. Actually, we should have sympathy for them. We should have very, very big sympathy for that family. They've lost everything. They have the most unique form of shame, right? It's a unique form. Very few people know what that's like to go through. Can you imagine such a thing? I'm trying to think. I don't know, like maybe the family of Lee Harvey Oswald or John Wilkes Booth, they could kind of relate. In fact, that kind of fascinates me as well. I once had a conversation with his older brother, Lee Harvey Oswald's older brother. And what a nice guy. What a sweet, genuine guy. And the worst thing happened to his family, right? I mean, and really bizarre and unthinkable. But he handled it in the most beautiful, I think the word might be classy. He was it was classy. And, that was a nice conversation. I'm glad we spoke. He died a couple of years ago. Hey, do me a favor, Carlos. I want to hear this. This is the Peacock series. I may have to get Peacock so I can watch the whole thing. I hate to subscribe to something else, right? I hate to do that, but maybe I have to. Go ahead. Going into the house.
The question everyone keeps asking is, how could you not know?
The Gilgo 4 was one of America's longest serial killer cold cases. After 13 years, this bombshell drops.
Rex Heuermann, architect, father, husband.
He basically was the person that lived next door.
He was a monster, living a double life.
One person saying this, one person saying that, but my memory says this.
There's so much evidence against you. I don't even believe you, and you're my best friend. Convince me, give me something. Did you do it?
Rex Heuermann insists through his lawyer that he's innocent.
Is it possible that no family ever suspected that something was off about this guy?
The most mysterious figure is Rex's wife.
The investigator says to me, have you heard about the murders on Gilgo Beach? I've heard of them.
The idea that the wife didn't know anything is hard to believe.
Does everybody really believe everything they hear?
Hello.
How you doing? I'm doing great, now that I've got you on the phone.
Oh my gosh, she was talking to Rex. She was talking to Rex right there. Sounded like a regular guy. Not a regular guy. And by the way, even if you suspected that something was off, well, then what do you do? Oh, he seems a little bit off. He seems a little bit weird, right? I know all kinds of people weird. Carlos, you're a little bit weird. I'm sure you're not killing anybody. I hope not. Back to that Coach Vrabel guy. I kept thinking as he apologizes to the team, like he did something so bad, Carlos, so bad.
I've had some difficult conversations with people that I care about, with my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. Those have been positive and productive. We believe in order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me. That starts with me. We never want our actions to negatively affect the team. We never want to be the cause of a distraction.
I mean, how are they distracted? How are the football players distracted? I mean, Aaron Hernandez was killing people between games, and that didn't distract them, right? Aaron Hernandez, through it all, kept a positive attitude, if you can believe that. Got pictures of him, smiling and enjoying himself right when he was killing people. And I don't think he ever took it that hard. I don't think he ever had to grovel, right in front of the cameras and the media. He's got enough problems with his wife. That's it. I'm not saying anything about what the guy should or should not be going through. I'm sure he's in the doghouse at home. Now making out with some girl is a national sex scandal. I got to tell you, a lot of what's going on is, look at that. How dare they? It gets the attention off those who are pointing the finger, right? There's a lot of that going on in America these days. Oh, yeah, no, he's the bad guy. It's right from that speech by Tony Montana. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. The White House Correspondents' Dinner. Are you going to watch it on TV? It's probably worth it. Something stupid could very well happen. Like some senior advisor to the president will get up and rap. Actually, that won't happen. But it did. Karl Rove, remember him? He's always showing up on Fox with that silly little whiteboard and his grease pencil, right? Acting all smart. Turd Blossom is his nickname, by the way. Just call him Turd Blossom, which I don't think is an effective nickname. Bush came up with it. Cut 11, please. This is Karl Rove dancing away, making fun of his whiteness, which I can't stand. It's the laziest, cheapest kind of humor. I don't think there's anything funny about being white in and of itself. Cut 11, cut 11.
Kid. Yeah. Now listen up, suckers. Don't get the jitters. But MC Rose says the heads off of critters. That's true. It's cruel to see. But he's gonna be about animal cruelty. He's a man. He's a treasure trove. But tell me, what is your name?
I'm MC Rose.
That's right. He can't be beat because he's so white from his head to his feet. But he will rap it when you give him a chance. Look at him move, doing a rapping dance. That's true. He's a dancing resident. He is the sidekick to the president. He's going way above. And tell me, what is your name?
MC Rose.
That's true. He crossing his arms. He's rapping and a chilling and a showing.
I'm MC Rove. Oh, that's so funny. He's white. And he's trying to act like a homie. So, folks, right now, you hear about viral tweets. I'll just tell you what that experience is like. It's no big deal. It's a little bit of an out-of-body experience, right? It's happening to something else. It's not happening to me. It's happening to my tweet, right? Some people, their world is turned upside down when people start making fun of them on Twitter or they start getting attention on Twitter, X. They just, oh my God, look at what's happening. When it happens to you a couple of times a month, it's really no big deal. And it's almost like, just, so where am I right now? This thing is hundreds of thousands of views. It's gotten, however, my important gauge is how many comments. 606 comments in an hour. That's definitely virality, viral territory. And, Hegseth, for whatever reason, still generates a hell of a lot of loyalty or a hell of a lot of contempt. I understand the contempt. I don't really understand the loyalty part of it. I don't. Oh, he was great on Fox and Friends. What was so great about him on Fox and Friends? When was he on Fox and Friends? Who was he supporting on Fox and Friends? Who was he helping on Fox and Friends? Was he helping the January 6ers during their plight? Was he interviewing January 6ers from jail? How many times did he talk to Aaron Babbitt, the husband of Ashley? How many times did he even mention Ashley? How many times did he talk about voter fraud in 2020? What did he say about Ron DeSantis? What did he say about Trump? How many times did he support Trump on air between 2021 and 2022? I happen to know for a fact that Trump was banned from Fox for weeks at a time. Where was he on those issues? I know where I was on those issues. He's no MAGA hero. This guy dissed MAGA. This guy's all about himself. And how did this guy even become a thing, right? He pulled a John Kerry in reverse, right? You know John Kerry? The soldiers, we massacred people to the likes of Genghis Khan. That snob came back and called all of his buddies war criminals. Remember that? He came back and decried the war as a way to gain political power and fame. Hegseth went to war as a way to gain political power and fame. Now, here's a dirty little secret about serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. At times, right, a lot of people went in and out of those countries. A lot of people went in and out of those countries. And yes, there's a danger factor. I'd say for most of the people going in and out of those countries, the danger wasn't particularly high. You could have an office job. Just talk to Pete Buttigieg. He had an office job in Afghanistan. But he could say, I served in Afghanistan. I went to Afghanistan. I went to Iraq, right? But after the invasion, it wasn't high-intensity combat operations the way you think about combat. It was different. It was kind of lame at times. And yes, there were pockets of intensity and there were demonstrations of real bravery. But there are also guys like Pete going over there to get their ticket punched for politics. And I think it's really interesting that this was a marketing campaign. It gave him credibility to put forward his political ideas, which were already formed before he went over there. I think the real giveaway is when he went to Afghanistan. He comes back and he announces for the U.S. Senate a week later, 4 days later, he's a full-time candidate for the U.S. Senate when he gets back from Afghanistan. Now, I'll tell you this, John Kerry at least had the decency to wait 12 years. He turn around and run right away. You think he was using his political service, his military service for political gain? You think? Now, look, people do that all the time, and that's fine to a certain degree. But the raw, nasty ambition, and he was a proponent of the war. He thought the war was good. He said, if you criticize the war, you're not supporting the troops, all that crap. And I think that actually, those kinds of arguments prolong the war, and possibly, who knows, more people died than they had to. I think it's pretty low. I wonder how that guy he fired, he loves to fire people, because he's never had that kind of authority in his life to fire anybody. He's been a staffer, he's been nobody would give that guy real power, firing people. Those phony, I guess you could count those phony baloney, what do you call it? Nonprofits. I've about had it with some of these nonprofits. They're not nonprofits. Some of them are all about profit. And you should see what some of these nonprofits pay themselves. Somehow they're making a huge profit in the nonprofit. The Southern Poverty Law Center. a $500 million endowment. I looked it up. The whole place is racist, by the way. All the lawyers are white. All the janitors are black. And that's just the way they like it in the South, the Southern Poverty Law Center. How about that one? They're racist. According to liberals, they're racist. And we now have this. They're paying the Ku Klux Klan. They're paying Aryan Nation. They're paying the Satan's Helpers motorcycle gang. Who does that? Other than a racist. They're racist, for crying out loud. I'll be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, we're back, and so are you. 800-848-9222, 800-848-9222. Jerry, hello.
Hey, good afternoon. I would love to find out who is looking into Ilhan Omar's accountant, and her knowledge of our laws for the IRS. Because I saw an interview with her the other day, and she just babbled on and basically blamed her husband for all of the misconnections and informal formalities that weren't filled out in her forms. Millions and millions of dollars are missing, and now the family has sold a vineyard, and these are Muslims. I didn't think the Muslims drank alcoholic beverage. What's going on, Greg? What do you think is happening over there?
I think she's totally, thoroughly corrupt, and she's on the verge of getting indicted. All right, pal? On the verge. It's going to happen any second now, all right? Stay tuned. Let's see here. What do we have on line? Do we have a line 4? Hello, who's this?
Hello.
Yes, you're on the radio. Who's this?
Steve from Jersey.
What do you got?
All right, man. This thing in Charlottesville, ready? This story could have been gotten 9.5 years ago. I was doing internet radio back then. A guy I knew who was at Charlottesville came and told me the whole story. He got there to the rally. He thought it was a pro-MAGA type of rally. But almost immediately when he got there, bottles and counter-protesters were already organized, throwing bottles and cans and other objects at them that looked like he believed Antifa or Black Lives Matter, to the point where they...
Wait, hold on. I mean, you're not the one, I'm sorry, but you didn't break that story.
The point is, Greg, journalists could have broken the story. This is a guy who came to me who was there.
He could have broken the story. People, first of all, there weren't actually that many journalists there. President Trump said everything you just said out loud. The facts, I don't know what you did with your information, your internet radio, whatever, but, yes, those are the facts. We knew the facts, but the dominant media either refused those facts, they refused to acknowledge those facts, and then they got in the habit of actually not even knowing about those facts. Hey, do we have that President Trump from yesterday? For the President Trump on Charlottesville. He says the whole thing. He says what you just said. You know that, right? You know that. He said the whole thing. What the hell were you doing there, by the way?
Well, no, I wasn't there. A guy I knew went there. He came.
All right, a guy you knew went there. And what are we supposed to do? You had the story 9.5 years ago. I'm telling you, I knew the story 9.5 years ago. We said it out loud. People actually know I wasn't on the air back then. But I believe President Trump's version, not the fake news. I saw what he said, how he said it. Everybody lied about that poor guy. They lied about President Trump and what he really said. So anyway, your buddy heard something 9.5 years. What's the bottom line?
He was there, Greg. There were people.
Your buddy was there. So what? And then what?
You could have connected the dots to see what the hell, why was that counter-protest already organized? Who was behind it? It took 9.5 years to get to the bottom of it. All right? I think that's the media has done such, and even the alternative media, Greg, and granted, you weren't on that. Okay, I'll cut you some slack. All right?
You're going to cut me some slack on this? You're going to cut me some slack. You're going to cut me like I bear responsibility. Let me tell you something. I want you to think about what personal price you have paid, seriously, regarding MAGA, being associated with President Trump, being vocal in his... Have you paid any price for that? Have you been discriminated against? Have you been harassed? Have you been affected financially? And by that I mean negatively. All of those things have happened to me. Much more than I am actually allowed or would be appropriate to go into detail here. For telling the truth. So you don't cut me some slack, all right? I'm the one with the rope. I cut you slack. Me, you. All right, pal, sorry to be so hard on you, but you touched a nerve. What can I say? We'll be right back. 800-848-9222.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?